Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha. Om Shri Saraswatyai Namaha. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam. Shruti-smriti-purananam Alayam Karunalayam Namami Bhagavad-pada Shankaram Lokashankaram. Samasta-jana-kalyane Niratam Karunamayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Sadgurum Brahma-vidvaram Sadgurum Brahma-vidvaram. Om Partaya Pratibodhitam Bhagavata Narayanena Swayam Vyasena Graditam Purana Munina Madhye Mahabharatam Advaitamritavarshiniim Bhagavatim Ashtadashadyayiniim Ambatvam Anusandadhami Bhagavad Gita Bhavadveshini. Yam Brahma Varunendra Rudra Marutah Stunvanti Devyai Stavaihi Vedai Sangapadakramopanisadaihi Gayanti Yam Samagah Dhyanavastita Tadgatena Manasa Pashyanti Yam Yogino Yasyantam na vidusura suraganah Deva yatasmai namaha Deva yatasmai namaha. Hari Om. So we were looking at verse 47 last class. Verse 47 in the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita is a very famous verse, very popular. It's also a very important verse. That's why it's so popular. Often quoted. And we started the discussion. We were midway through it. So we will continue the discussion today. But first, let us chant the verse. We'll all chant it together because we have read it already. So together. Karmanyevadhikaraste ma paleshu kadachana ma karma palahetur bhuhu ma te sangostva karmani. The reason that this verse is so important and popular and well known and often quoted is it gives the principle behind Karma Yoga. Karma Yoga is a great sadhana. And what exactly it is? We hear the term tossed around, Karma Yoga, Karma Yoga. What exactly it is? And that is beautifully stated here. Sri Krishna says, Karmani eva adhikaraha te. Te, you, to you, You have the ability to act. Karmani eva, to act only. You have control over your action. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Phala, the results, you don't have any control, or you don't have much control. Let me not say any control. You do have some, but you cannot say, I did this action, this has to be the result. That you cannot say. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Never in your hands, really speaking. So, ma karma phala hetuhu bhuhu. So, may your motive, let it not be on the results. Karma phala hetuhu bhuhu ma. Do not insist on the results. Let your motive, what prompts you into action, let it not be the external accomplishments, gain of the results. That only, let it not be. On the other hand, the inner growth, you perform some action, you get the results, how you grow from that, that is under your control. Therefore, when you are working in this world, let not your focus be on the materialistic gain, gaining money, gaining name and fame, status in the society, and all that. Let it not be. So many reasons are there. One thing, they are unpredictable. You may get it, may not get it. So let your motivation not be that. See, if that is your motivation, if that's what the only thing that you're looking for, and if the gains are there, you'll be happy. If what you want, you get, you'll be happy. But by the same token, if you don't get it, instead of gain, you incur a loss, that really upsets you. You're unhappy. So, if you depend upon those external outcomes, external unpredictable factors, your life will be one of ups and downs. Nobody is successful 100% of the time. You just need to look back at your own life. By and large, by God's grace, we've been successful. But by the same token, we have had our disappointments. I would be surprised if anyone claims my life has been only one way, hunky dory. No, you had our, if nothing else, in old days, so many health issues are there. So, that is the way it is. So, if you insist on those results, then you are bound to be disappointed, depressed, and all that. So, do not make your fulfillment of your life to depend on such outcomes. What should be the focus? The focus should be the very action. What you're doing, focus on that. And one more thing he says beautifully, very important. At the same time, mate sangaha astu akarmani. Akarmani, inaction. When I face a few failures in life, I try a few things and I failed in those. The usual tendency will be to become fatalistic, become frustrated, and to drop everything. I'm not going to do anything. Anything I touch, it's a failure. Possibility of failure is there when I act in the world. So I've decided to avoid failures. I would not do anything. Don't attempt anything, you will never fail. Someone claimed after 10 years, 10 years, I have never failed in my life. Ooh, that's great. You are a truly success story. How did you do that? I didn't try to do anything. So I didn't fail in anything. Sounds ridiculous, doesn't it? Bhagavan warns against that. Don't take to inaction. See, the important point is by not acting, you lose the opportunity for growth, especially the inner growth. That's terrible. Action alone can give you, for sure, the inner growth, spiritual growth, internal spiritual growth. Only action can give. If you don't act, you won't get that. Active life contributes to growth, and withdrawal also will contribute to growth. But you should know when to do what. You need to know when to hold and when to fold. Both are important while playing poker. A good poker player, he knows when to fold. The hand that is dealt, no good. Then when it's pretty good, you need to hold on. You don't know what the other players are going to have. That is always there. But a good player knows that. Same thing in life also. You need to know what activity contributes, when and what withdrawal will help, where. You must know. And in the sixth chapter, Bhagavan will say, the initial stage of spiritual growth is only in pravritti. Pravritti means activity, action, interaction with the world. That's not the time for nivritti, for withdrawal. Sannyasa ashrama, where you withdraw from everything, that is the last one. Fourth ashrama. That comes after grihastha. As a householder, you have to act. And in a householder's life, there is scope for action and thereby growth. Of course, you cannot be engaged in action all the time. Eventually, you must know, you must learn when to withdraw nivritti at the appropriate time. And that's why our Sanatana Dharma has designed the total life scheme, the four stations in life: Brahmacharya, Grahastha Ashrama, Vanaprastha, and Sannyasa Ashrama. The latter two stations in life are for nivritti. But don't do that right away. I do nothing, I'll never fail. That's dumb. First stages in life are for action. The very first one, you should learn. Brahmacharya, that's when you learn. Then once you have learned, second stage, you earn. You work hard. You earn, you share with others. All that is possible only by action. And so Bhagavan says, Arjuna, you are still in the first phase. Or in terms of the ashrama, you are a grihastha right now. You want to quit and run to the forest. That's not appropriate. So he says, Akarmani sangaha mastu. This attachment to inaction, don't you do that. Don't run away from your responsibility. So the sum and substance of the entire verse is your right, your eligibility, your qualification, and ability is for performing actions alone. You should do it. And as you do the actions, you do not have the right to dictate the results of action. So may you not be a person who is prompted by, motivated by, goaded by, inspired by the fruits of action. At the same time, do not give in to inaction. So this is what is said. The biggest confusion is understanding what Karma Yoga is. You ask us to do an action without any desire. Standard question in all Q&A when we discuss this verse. How is it possible? Only desire motivates, inspires, activates one into action. If you don't care about the results, if you're not worried about the results, if that is not a motivator, why would you do anything? So that's why it specifically said, do not give in to inaction. That doesn't mean you just go on acting regardless of whether you're doing the right or wrong. At random, you do something. Indiscriminately, you are acting. That's not the case. That's not the advice that Bhagwan will give you. So you have to understand the yoga part of karma yoga and the karma part also. Both of them you must understand. So the first and foremost, Sri Krishna says here is Mate Sangaha Astu Akarmani. Let there be no attachment to inaction. Don't give in to that. You cannot achieve anything in this world if you are lazy. Alasyam hi mahashatruhu dehinah. For people, dehinah, they embody it. For people, for you and I, laziness is the greatest enemy. But being lazy, you waste your potential. Oh, every one of us can achieve so many great things. All that talent, all that capabilities, all that abilities get wasted if you don't do anything. That's one thing. Then there are others who just the opposite. They're not lazy, but they are hyperactive. I have to do this, I have to do that, I have so many desires, I have so many ambitions. I'm not lazy, I'm continuously working 18, 20 hours a day. Very good. But for what? I'm doing it for money, power, wealth, name, fame. Sri Krishna warns against such tendencies also when he says, Ma karma palahetuhu bhuhu. Do not be feverishly active for fulfilling your material desires only. So you should act, but the action should not be prompted by such personal material desires. So what you see is inaction is rolled out, desire prompted selfish actions are ruled out, and naturally there is no room for prohibited actions. Bhagavan does not even mention prohibited actions, it's not worth mentioning. Karmani eva adhikarahate. Your right is in action only, and which action? The only actions that are left after all this discussion here is your duties, kartavya karma, what needs to be done. Your right is to perform your bounden duties. Family duties are there, social duties are there, civic duties are there, official duties are there, religious, spiritual duties, they're all there. The very meaning of the word kartavya is that it has to be done. Where does the question of result come? This got to be done, got to be done, regardless of the results. Don't you even think of the results. Ma phaleshu kadachana. Never. The fact of the matter is, you don't have the final control over the results anyway, be it a desire prompted action or just the performance of your duties. You don't have control over that. So why fret over something on which you don't have a control? The more you are attached to the results, more you will be affected with the adverse results. So do not act only for the results of action. When you give up inaction and perform only your bounden duties without being prompted by the results, the performance is enhanced. Personal likes and dislikes are not there. The action itself becomes a joy. Then you will get the purity of mind. Chittasya shuddhaye karma. Sitting Viveka Chudamani, we've seen that. This karma yoga, that karma part of it, is to purify your mind. And that's priceless, most precious. This makes your mind fit for the knowledge. You get that fitness and embark upon acquiring that knowledge, and you get established in that. Your heart will be filled by Brahmananda. Material results also come, but more importantly, spiritual progress is made. This kind of attitude in action is what Bhagavan calls Yoga Buddhi. The second chapter, Karma Yoga, is called Yoga Buddhi, Buddhi Yoga. This is what makes karma into Karma Yoga, makes action into yoga of action. Continuing, verse 48. Yogastah kuru karmani. Yogastah kuru karmani. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Samatvam yoga uchyate. Yogastah kuru karmani. Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Siddhya siddhyo samo bhutva. Samatvam yoga uchyate. So, Arjuna, act in this world by having the proper attitude toward the results of action. What is the proper attitude? Material gains should become subservient to inner growth. The advantage of this change of attitude is that the gains and losses will not torment you, torture you. You don't give more importance to those things than what they deserve, and so you don't trouble, and they don't trouble you as much. You're focusing on inner growth, and you will get that regardless of material benefits. Your mind is not overly disturbed. They interviewed a very successful CEO. They asked him, "What's the secret of your success?" Right decisions. Huh? What is the secret of the right decisions you made? Experience. How did you gain such experiences? By making the wrong decisions. been there, done that, but learned from that. You can learn from all experiences, even from the worst decisions that you have made. This focus on inner growth is called samatvam. So Bhagavan says, samatvam yoga uchyate. A beautiful cryptic definition for karma yoga. Samatvam, this balance, equipoise, equanimity, call what you want, balance of mind. That itself is called yoga, meaning karma yoga. If he gains a lot of material things, very successful, he doesn't become overjoyed. If he's really hit hard, huge loss, wiped out, then also he's not depressed. He maintains a balance. In prosperity as well as adversity, great people have a mental balance. Like when the sun rises, it's red, brilliant. And when it sets, again it is red and brilliant. Just look at the pictures. It'll be difficult to say which is sunset and which is sunrise. The sun doesn't say, oh, I'm so happy. I'm coming out of the horizon. I'm going to light up the whole world. At the end of the day, it's about to set. It's that brilliant red hue. You see both times. Samatvam yoga uchyate. The main indicator for a karma yogi is that mental balance. So yogastaha, remaining in mental balance, karmani kuru, do your actions. You have that balance, and then you go on doing your actions. Whatever you need to do, whatever kartavya karma, take to all those undertakings of your duties. Just do whatever you got to do. Whatever actions we take is risky only. The results are unpredictable, no doubt. So how to act? Bhagavan says, Sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. Dhananjaya, oh Arjuna. Sangam tyaktva, giving up attachment. Attachment to the material gains. Shift your attention to the spiritual and inner growth. What about attachment to spiritual growth? Shastra says one thing, that's an allowed attachment. All attachments are bad except one. What is that exception? Attachment to the unattached. Attachment to spiritual growth. Attachment to God, to Shastra, to Guru. They are permitted. They're not negatives. Attachment to everything else is a problem. So give it up. Siddhya siddho samo bhutva. Siddhi as well as asiddhi. Success or failure. Samaha bhutva. Making them the same. Maintain equanimity in both success and in failure. Have the appropriate attitude to both of them. So this is the definition Bhagavan gives of karma yoga. Samatvam yoga uchyate. That balance of mind, equipoise, equanimity, is called yoga, karma yoga. So what is the meaning of siddhya siddho samo bhutva, samatvam yoga uchyate? One simple preliminary reading meaning is that when you do your karma, the karma may give you a result that you call a success. That's what you want, and that's what you get. That's a successful action. Or it may be the other way, maybe a failure. Gains may be there, losses may be there. People may praise you or blame you. In all those pairs of opposites, you remain the same. Shankaracharya, in his Bhashya, says the primary goal of Karma Yoga is purity of mind, which he has said in Vivek also, Chittasya Shuddhaye Karma. The ultimate aim is what? The realization of the self. Jnana Prapti Lakshanam Siddhihi. Not getting just this and that. So, Chittasya Shuddhaye Karma, purity of mind is the main purpose of karma. Whatever be the results, you be the same. It may so happen that the purity of mind is not gained. Jnana Prapti does not happen. Even when that is the result, still you go on doing your kartavya karma. The idea is let your mind not have any concerns, whatever. You heard this often. You live in the present. If you're anxious about realization of the self, that anxiety itself will not allow you to proceed, regardless of anything. Whatever you're supposed to do, go on doing that. Our problem is we don't want to do anything. We just keep on talking about results. I've been studying Vedas for so many years. Nothing is happening. What will happen? What you have is a result of Janma Janmantara garbage that you've collected, that you call Sanchita Karma. Part of it is fructified as Prarabdha Karma. And you want to wipe it all out in just a few years. We are all in a LKG class of spirituality, and we want to get the PhD in 1 year. Just do your sadhana. You have no business to think about the results. You should have the Vyavasayatmika Buddhi. That's what. Be resolute in your actions. Do not have even anxiety for the purity of mind or the vision of God. Bhagavan may not appear. To do so or to do otherwise is his will. You cannot command Bhagavan to do anything. You cannot order him. But you can do your sadhana. Yesha devi hita sankye buddhir yoge tvamam shrunu buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. We've already seen in verse 39. One has promised. You act with karma yoga buddhi, your bondage will end. Why are you worried? It has not happened so far. You don't dictate the time frame. You go on doing. If your attitude is one of love and service, how will any contradictory results come? Kartavya karma should be dedicated to God as worship. And with equanimity of mind, with respect to the results of action, then you do. Ishwararpitam nechaya kritam chitta shodakam mukti sadakam. Bhagavan Ramana Maharshi beautifully says in just 2 lines. Ishwararpana buddhi, you have with reference to the action. Prasada buddhi you have with regard to the results, and you go on doing. That's it. This is what is called karma yoga. So Arjuna, you be a karma yogi. Durena hyavaram karma. दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः कृपणाः फलहेतवः दूरेण ह्यवरं कर्म बुद्धियोगात् धनञ्जय बुद्धौ शरणमन्विच्छ कृपणाः फलहेतवः. Two types of people are being contrasted. One is a karmi and the other is karma yogi. Karmi is the one who gives importance to the fruits of action alone, material benefits alone. He's a materialist who does not value the inner growth, the spiritual growth at all. Karmi is focused on action and he's doing the action for a particular result. He's not thinking about the spiritual growth, nothing like that. Of course, when you act, action produces results. And this karmi, he is elated if the results are what he wanted and is devastated if not. Therefore, he suffers. Au contraire, a karma yogi, on the other hand, is balanced in both success and failure. And Bhagavan shows the contrast here. Hey Dhananjaya, O Arjuna, karma durena hyavaram. The action of a materialist is far, far, very inferior. Far inferior. It is inferior to Buddhi Yoga. Karma Yoga done by a Karma Yogi, much better. What a Karmi does, very inferior to what a Karma Yogi does. So Buddhi Yoga means Karma Yoga. It is so called because the main feature of Karma Yoga is not necessarily in action, but in the attitude with which the action is done. The buddhi, the attitude. That is what constitutes the yoga part. The difference is not in action, but in the attitude and values with which you act, what is behind the action. So karma yoga is also called as buddhi yoga. Bhagavan uses this term, he likes this phrase, buddhi yoga. So Bhagavan says the materialist action is far inferior to that of a karma yogi. Therefore, buddhau sharanam anvicha. Take resort to karma yoga. Buddhi yoga. Take resort to that. May you have the proper attitude when you act in this world. Otherwise, what happens? Parma palahetavaha. Palahetavaha, those people who do not have this attitude are utterly materialistic, motivated only by the phala. They are called palahetavaha. Palahetu. The result is the hetu, motivator for them. And they are, Bhagavan says, kripanah. They are unfortunate, pitiable people. Pitiable people. Kripana. One man went to a Mahatma and asked for Upadesh. The Mahatma said, every day chant the name of the Lord. You chant it 108 times. Do japa and this nama, one mala, only 108 times. The man immediately asked, okay, If I do that, what will I get? Mahatma immediately kicked him out and said, you cannot take the Lord's name without expecting for something in return. Mhm. So there are some people like that. And he says they are pathetic, kripana. They go through tremendous anxiety, terrible stress and strain as they work, and they are torn apart with all the results. On the contrary, if a person performs the actions as buddhi yoga, the attitude of a karma yoga, the mind is calm, cool, regardless of success or failure. Such a mind he works, he is efficient. Material success will come, but he gains much more. He gains the purity of mind. So, Arjuna, take to karma yoga. Now comes another beautiful verse, verse 50. Let us read. Buddhi yukto jagati hai. बुद्धि युक्तो जहाति है उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्मात् योगाय युज्यस्व तस्माद् योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् योगः कर्मसु कौशलम् बुद्धि युक्तो जहाति है उभे सुकृत दुष्कृते तस्मात् योगाय युज्यस्व योगः कर्मसु कौशलम्. The result of karma yoga is pointed out here. Buddhi yukta hai. One who is united with this buddhi yoga, a karma yogi, the one who has the right attitude to action and its results, the one to whom the priorities in life are very clear, such a person is a buddhi yukta, a karma yogi. Ultimately, he will become a jnana yogi also. Karma yogi learns lessons from life. Sooner or later, his mind asks for something that is lasting and permanent. He alone analyzes his life experiences thoroughly and he discovers that he's seeking permanent happiness from the impermanent things so far. And, and that's a big mistake. Even a person who is successful will fail sometime or other. That makes him miserable. He discovers that he is committing a mistake in seeking permanent happiness from impermanent things. I am seeking security from insecure things. I am seeking the infinite from the finite. When he comes to such a realization, he would say, my search itself has been in the wrong direction. Then he makes the change. Eventually, comes to seek the permanent, seeking the secure, seeking the infinite. And coming to that search is called Jnana Yoga. So every karma yogi, upon successfully doing karma yoga, will turn to Jnana Yoga. One day or the other. Once he discovers his true nature, then he will transcend all karma phalas. So Bhagavan says, Sukrita dushkrute ubhe jagati. Jagati, he gives up. What? Sukrita, dushkrita, both the good and the bad. He discovers his original nature, and that is Atmaswarupa, that we have seen in the earlier Jnana Yoga portion in this chapter. He discovers his true higher nature that is beyond all punya and papa. So he gives up all the sukruta, doing good, noble deeds and thereby collecting punya. Dushkrita also, of course, bad actions he doesn't engage in to accrue papa. Thus, the steps here are karma yoga, jnana, and sukrita dushkrita tyaga, transcending both punya and papa. That is called moksha. Remaining in karma, a person can never transcend. Just like a person in a whirlpool, he will just go round and round. Previously, he was in that rat race. Now he has why be a rat in the first place. Therefore, Arjuna, tasmat yogaya yujjasva, engage in action. To gain that jnana, you first have to act. But act as a karma yogi and progress through these steps. Enter karma with the attitude of karma yoga, grow out of karma. So yogaya yujjasva. May you take to karma yoga and yoga karmasu kaushalam. Efficient performance of action. It's called karma yoga. Efficiency in action, skill in action is karma yoga. Another beautiful cryptic definition. Yoga karma kaushalam. Dexterity in action. Skill in action is karma yoga. What do you mean that dexterity? What is that skill? It's a very beautiful technical meaning. Karma yoga consists of two parts. One is karma and the other is yoga. By karma, we mean proper action, the appropriate action, the right action, the legitimate action, or technically, sattvic action. The second part of it, the second part of karma yoga is the yoga part. This word yoga indicates the proper attitude in the performance of action. Further, I should have proper attitude toward the results of action. As a karta and a bhokta, I should have the right attitude. This healthy attitude is called yoga. Karma yoga consists of a healthy action and a healthy attitude. Proper attitude is samatvam yoga uchyate, that was already said. The mind should not be a disturbed mind. If you do not love the job, my mind is disturbed. If I resist the results of action, then also the mind is strained, disturbed, agitated. Such a mind is not the mind of a karma yogi. Many benefits of acting with the attitude of karma yoga. The immediate benefit is peace of mind. No stress, no strain. More important is the purification of the mind and preparing the mind for jnana yoga. Finally, the jnana and ultimately moksha. This is laying the groundwork for that. The mind that is purified, there is the greatest interest in self-knowledge. Previously, that was not all that appealing. You used to say Vedanta, so dry. But as the mind becomes purer and purer, self-knowledge, philosophy, all begin to appeal to him. The ultimate benefit of karma yoga is liberation. Second definition of karma yoga given here, yoga karmas kaushalam. First definition was samatvam yoga uchyate in verse 48, balance of mind. Is karma yoga not by walking away from action, but balance of mind amid action. Now, Bhagwan gives a second definition. Karmasu kaushalam yoga, skill in action. What is this skill in action? Here, skill does not mean the expertise, performance in action. One can become an expert in a particular action by repeating it over and over again. We're not talking about such expertise here. Proper attitude is not there. Karma can never lead to more and more peace. It will only lead to strain, stress, and tension. Karma yogi is one who uses the very same karma, but uses it to attain liberation. A binding karma, karma yogi converts to a liberating karma. This conversion is not by changing the action, but brought about by purely changing the attitude. It's like using the snake venom to make the antidote for the snake bite. Karma is venomous, it is binding. But the same karma converted so as to liberate us, that is karma yoga. So the skill here is converting the binding action to liberating karma. So karma yogi is skillful in that regard, skillful in action. Now, skill in action should be understood properly. It's not that you do the job efficiently. It's not the dexterity or efficiency in doing something. A thief who picks pockets may be very adept in doing that. A murderer may plan the murder so well and executes that according to plan, may not get caught. There are so many murders unsolved for 40, 50 years. The statistic is about 50% of the murders never get solved. So that is not skill in action. So, what do you mean by that? There is a basic problem in performance of karma. Karmana badhyate jantuhu. Actions bind you. Karma has that knack of multiplying itself. Start out doing something, and then you cannot stop. One thing leads to another. Pretty soon you are knee deep in action and you can't get out. Karma yoga is the secret. It shows us how to act without getting bound. Not only bondage is not created, existing bonds are nullified. Puja Gurudev used to say very nicely, remove existing vasanas, not create any new vasanas. That is skill in action. Simple example, electrician working with high voltage. High voltage is dangerous, 10,000 volts, but he has to work with that and yet not get a fatal shock. He wears the right equipment when he's dealing with that. That's skill. Of course, as already said, that can be acquired with equanimity of mind. Samatvam yoga uchate. Yoga karma kaushalam. Now, do you understand karma yoga? Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Guru Bhyo Namaha. Hari Om.